All right, what's up, everybody? Happy New Year's. Hey, if you're new to this channel, we love talking Detroit Lions football. It has been a great 2024 here on Sports Talk Detroit. Can't wait for an even better 2025. Every year we've done this channel has gotten a little better and a little better. So I wanted to start this by saying thank you to everybody who has been watching, who has been following, whether it's your first time watching, your 10th time, or you've been a loyal follower since the beginning, just hanging out and talking Lions football with us. And we love talking with all of you. We love when you guys get the chat going in the comments. So here's the question I have for you. We're sitting here a few days off of a victory on Monday Night Football against the 49ers. Would you have played the starters? All right. Would you have played the starters? And why? Dan Campbell said that's who we are. He came out and said other good things about it, but that's not what this video is about. We are going to talk about it for a second, but pretty soon we're going to get into what it looks like against the Vikings, what Dan Campbell is saying about it early on before the game. Remember, we're coming off a short week here. Hey, we're Monday Night Football, so we have a little less time to prepare. And we are going to talk about some of the feats that the Lions have accomplished that, it just hasn't been done, or it's only been done once or twice. But here's the deal. Would you have played the starters? I love Dan Campbell's reasoning when he said, look, the backups would not have been ready. We practiced the starters all week. They were ready to go, and they are the ones who deserve to play. Also, it's just not who we are. I think that's a really good analysis. I would make the argument that maybe just maybe the offense was ready to show up. The offense was ready to play. The defense really struggled. And they came up big in the second half thanks to a couple of Kirby Joseph interceptions. I don't know if I remember the 49ers punting, but I do know that this is good. Now, the Lions are aware that they need help, but before we get into help and a waiver claim that they attempted to make, and another one that I think they should attempt to make, let's talk about what Dan Campbell said following the realization that they were going to be playing the Minnesota Vikings with everything on the line. All right. He went ahead and it's not, all right, my computer's messed up. But anyways, he went ahead and he said that, this is fairytale stuff. That's a direct quote from Dan Campbell. He said, this is what you're in it for, man. All right. I love that. It doesn't get better than any of this. He said, you couldn't write a better scenario. You couldn't come up with this. The fact that both teams are sitting at 14-2, and it's for the division and the number one seed, it just doesn't get any better than this. It is fairy tale stuff. I'm glad he feels that way. I wanted the Packers to beat the Vikings. I think all of us wanted the Packers to beat the Vikings, but here's the truth. Win next week, you get a bye week. You get some much-needed rest going into the playoffs. You can maybe get another person healthy, but even more important than that, you have more time to get your defensive players on the same page. What we're starting to see is a lot of players who are being asked to do a lot. You are asked to do a lot in Aaron Glenn's system. The man-to-man, the handing off of receivers, especially I think about in the secondary, you are asked to do a ton, and you're asked to do it with a defensive line that, quite frankly, isn't getting that much pressure on the running backs or on the quarterback. Why did I say running backs? All right, that's not getting that much pressure on the quarterbacks. So if you're being asked to do all of that, you need a team that is moving as one, that is on the same page. And what we're looking at is you got Terry and Arnold in there. You still got Branch and you still have Joseph. I understand that. But you have other things that are just flat out changing. All right. Iffy was in the game a ton more, moving Branch more into that forward safety as a third safety or even nickel at time. You had Amik Robertson, right, playing on the outside more. You had a bunch of different things that are changed that actually make a big difference. And we really saw a struggle with this defense, both in the secondary and, if I can be completely honest with you, in the linebacking room. All right. I have just been throwing praises on Jack Campbell over and over and over again. That dude bit really hard on multiple play actions that left the middle of the field wide open because he couldn't get deep enough in his drop. And then all of a sudden it's like, how are these players wide open? What's the secondary doing? Actually, it was a linebacker issue. Same with Jalen Reeves-Maben, right? It just wasn't great. All right, they struggled keeping up in coverage. I would make the argument that both Ezekiel Turner and Ben Neiman were playing better than Germ, which is hard for me to say because I love me some Germ. All right, I don't love germs, but I love Germ. And so, like, it's one of those things that's really, really, really hard to figure out. But the Detroit Lions understand they need help. That's actually why they tried to claim defensive tackle Fedarian Mathis off waivers. If you were listening, I said it late in the video before that the Lions should give it a go. He's a former second-round pick, I believe, like 42, 45 overall, something like that. Us and a ton of other teams. Teams are in desperation time right now. And a lot of teams attempted to get him. Unfortunately, we didn't get him. All right? We didn't get him. All right? So the Jets, who currently sit at number 7, were the first team on the list to put in a claim. All the other teams who placed a claim had a better record. All right? But we know the Bengals, we know the Texans, and we know us all put a claim in on them. But the Jets, what? Like, our waiver claim is going to be almost like dead last. So, you know, whatever. All right, I'm glad. You can go get some D-line depth, so instead of losing 40-7 with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback with the Jets, you can lose 33-7. How about that? Or maybe 37-7. By the way, just loved watching that. Anybody watching the Aaron Rodgers documentary, The Enigma? I'm through 2 of the 3 episodes. Just dumb. Like, just dumb. Thank you, Aaron Rodgers, for confirming that I don't like you. That's all I have to say about that. Like, medicine. Like, he's talking about medicine. Psychedelics are a medicine that is going to help. No. All right? That is not a thing. It sucks that you have young kids that have to hear this guy talk about this crap. No, young kids should not be watching the documentary, but he just talks about it openly. It makes 0 sense. All right. Another thing that the Lions were able to do, a couple things that are interesting. They become the first team in NFL history, I believe. This is very interesting. They become the first team in NFL history to have, I think, 5 games where they score 40 points or more with 0 turnovers. That's pretty cool. So they become the first team in history to do that. And so that's good. I believe they become the second or third team in history to have both running backs and 2 wide receivers go over 1,000 all-purpose yards. The offense continues to do some pretty insane stuff, and that is why I have a hope that they still can have a future and they still have a path to the Super Bowl, even with a banged-up defense. I would like to believe that they won't give up a ton of points in every single game, and I'd like to believe that the defense started figuring it out toward the back half of that game. I just hope we don't always have to wait till halftime for the adjustments, and it's just a blitz, like a blitzkrieg, a German blitzkrieg in the first half. All right, hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Happy New Year.